For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. You know, the saying is that never gets old. No, that really is old. I think we have to change that up. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Thanks for tuning in at thescribbleshow.com and on SoundCloud and iTunes. So, award show season. You know, the Grammys Monday night on CBS. So we are talking with one of our friends from E! News, and we're going to be making some predictions and just chatting music and answering some of the questions that you might have. For instance, how does some songs get nominated and some don't? Did you realize there's a deadline and they actually have to be submitted for consideration? We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. And then also, the Super Bowl last Sunday. Wow, I don't even know. I think it's interesting that they say, 100 million people tuned in around the world. And for the most part, people talk about the commercials and people talk about the halftime show. I don't hear very many people talking about the actual game itself. So I don't know if is the game even necessary at that point, really. I mean, if you're tuning in, and this is the one time of the year that I actually watch commercials, I'll be honest with you, and especially, I try not to watch things live. I watch them on like a 10-minute delay so that I can fast forward through the commercials and then catch up as the show is live, towards the end. But this is the one time of year that I actually look forward to the commercials. And then, of course, yes, everybody is talking about the commercials for days and days and days. The halftime show, Coldplay. Pretty good. Bruno Mars. Okay. Beyonce rocked it out. Was anybody else at home kind of sitting there going, these three together are just kind of awkward? It was good. It was a great performance. Don't get me wrong. They've got that 12 and a half minutes to perform and do what they do. But it just seemed weird. And then also, it was almost like a best of sort of thing. Like, Coldplay is at the 50th Super Bowl. But then you bring in these other two performers who've already done the Super Bowl halftime show, and I kind of felt weird about that. Like, I was almost expecting, Katy Perry to then come out, and, well, not Michael Jackson or Whitney Houston, because, what happened there. But, yeah, it was a little bit weird to me. Great performances, I'm not knocking that, but it seemed a little bit odd. Now, there was also Lady Gaga doing the national anthem. Let's talk about this for a second, because now that she's an award-winning actress, is she taking herself too seriously? She is not the zany Lady Gaga that everybody fell in love with. The Lady Gaga that we were all introduced to. It's like ever since she's been banging Tony Bennett, she has just matured, and now she's got this like Marilyn Monroe sort of, big old school hair, and it's weird. Now, I think it's kind of annoying me because it's like she's maturing, and with somebody like Lady Gaga, you don't want that. It's almost like she's the opposite of Britney Spears. Remember, Britney Spears started out squeaky clean little teenage girl, and then she became this big whore. Well, Lady Gaga was sensational and outrageous and crazy and bonkers, and now she's cleaning up her act, and she's just this old woman now. I don't know. Now, we saw the reaction when she won at the SAG Awards a couple weeks ago. That the people the Golden Globes, right? People were sort of looking at, this is a singer and she's winning this award and this is a little bit strange. And she got choked up, and it just seemed like it was overly dramatic and actually badly acted, I thought, but that's just me. And so now she comes out to do the anthem, and I get that when you're doing the national anthem, it's not supposed to be zany and wild. It is supposed to be serious. But there's just still something there's just a disconnect. Have her do the halftime show where she can be crazy, and then have somebody else like Coldplay or Bruno Mars or somebody do the anthem. Just my thoughts. Would love to hear what you think about this whole thing. Send us a tweet at The Scribble Show, or you can send an email to live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. Now, some of you also, since we're talking about celebrity news, some of you have noticed our new entertainment wrap-up website, and the reason was we got locked out of the old one, and so over the course of a weekend, last weekend, we had to completely redesign the site and basically start from scratch. And everybody hated working over Super Bowl weekend, but we did it, we got it. So check it out at entertainmentwrapup.com, entertainmentwrapup.com, and you can click for our daily celebrity news and gossip, and it's a quick 3-minute sort of segment where we just sort of run through and I make sarcastic comments just like I have been about Lady Gaga and other celebrities on the Scribble here as well. So, coming up, again, we are going to be talking with Sibley Scoles, who's one of the correspondents on E! News. We're going to be talking all about the Grammys, the snubs, the predictions, the fashion. You don't want to go anywhere. It's going to be good. And Valentine's Day is coming up, and I'd love for you to go to our website, speakfreebooks.com, and you can pick up the official guide to being an American cheapskate, because there's tips about how to have a very cheap Valentine's Day. Now, I know we talked about it last week. I gave you some ideas on the show. But in case the shipping is going to take a little bit too long, you can actually get it on iTunes and Kindle, and you can get it like right now, and you can scroll through to the My Thrifty Valentine chapter, and you can read all about how you can have a romantic night and a night where you're not sleeping on the couch. You know what I'm talking about. You know that it's going to happen if you forget Valentine's Day. So speakfreebooks.com, or just go to Amazon and iTunes and look up The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate. It's by yours truly, Jeremy Bradley. It's a best-selling book. The Winnipeg version of it anyway, The Official Guide to Being a Winnipeg Cheapskate. So let's get back into the celebrity entertainment news. We're going to talk the Grammys right after this.
If you're diabetic, this message could change your life. Is your blood sugar out of control even when you do all the right stuff? Are you afraid of diabetic blindness and the risk of amputation, as well as all those other side effects? Well, you should be. Is there anything that could help manage your blood sugar? Nobetes is a natural supplement that may quickly and dramatically lower your blood sugar.
My name is Bob Corder. I've been using Nobetes for about 3.5 to 4 months now, and in the first 3 months, I've actually lowered my blood sugars from 500s down to 139, and then it dropped to 88 to 93.
My name is Kirsten. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and while taking Nobetes, my blood sugar levels dropped from 295 to 115 in just one day.
The FDA hasn't evaluated these statements, and Nobetes isn't intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. But for many, it's helped drop their blood sugar. So if you've been evaluated with high blood sugar, don't delay. Evaluate Nobetes now. Call 800-478-9568 and get your free bottle. Just cover shipping and handling. Call 800-478-9568. That's 800-478-9568.
Well, it's Grammys time again. Let's talk music with an expert. E! News correspondent Sibley Scoles is joining us on the line. Hello there.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm amazing.
One of the first things that happens when the nominations are announced is people look for the snubs, right? Which artists weren't nominated, which ones were that shouldn't have been. So we see it every year. We always know that Taylor Swift is going to be nominated for everything. That's just how it goes. Let's talk, though, Beyonce first. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is like the first year she hasn't been nominated in like 40 years.
40 years is about right. Beyonce. It's a surprise to me, but also, you know what? I think Beyonce gave everyone what they needed to where it was a little early and we kind of forgot about it.
True. But maybe is that a way of saying that she didn't really step up her game in 2015 to give us anything more noticeable as the year went on?
You know what? I think Beyonce's got the motherhood situation going on, obviously. She's got Blue Ivy, and she's handling business as a mother and a business woman. So beyond music, I think Beyonce kind of said, you know what? I want to take this year to just be me and not push my music so hard.
Yeah, true. But I mean, even for like Feeling Myself with Nicki Minaj, people thought that should have been nominated, right?
You know what? I love Nicki Minaj, okay? I'll be honest. However, best rap album, I don't know about her. I mean, she's up there over Big Sean. I felt like Big Sean should have been more noticed this year.
Yeah. Okay, let's swing over then to Rihanna. Teamed up with Paul frickin' McCartney and Kanye. What happened there? And now again, they performed at last year's Grammys, and like you said, maybe it was just too early in the year that people forgot about it. Could that be what happened?
I mean, I think it's all about timing, especially now. I mean, obviously, music comes and it goes, and 4 or 5 Seconds was a huge record with an amazing artist, Paul McCartney, as well on there with her. But people want, I think it's just about the timing now. It's like we have a younger generation listening to more music, and they want to hear something that's in the now, and I think you forget about it. It's hard to stay relevant on radio, so you kind of get lost in the circle when you have so many new music, records coming out every week.
True. Okay, so you mentioned the younger generation, so let's go into Madonna and Prince. Still selling out concerts, but maybe not resonating with the younger listeners, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Madonna, we all know who Madonna is. We all know who Prince is. However, they're going to always have their music base. Like you said, they are selling out concerts, they're selling out arenas, but I think it's just not resonating. Somewhere there's something missing where these young people who are, part of the Grammy teams or just, listening to radio right now, and they're not paying attention.
Well, a lot of people are thinking, now, fellow Canadian here, let's say Carly Rae Jepsen, people are saying should have been nominated. So let's talk about this. Her smash, Call Me Maybe, was nominated years ago. And we actually, on our show, we had the Canadian Idol judges who, discovered her, essentially. They actually said that they thought that she'd be a long shot to win. And so it's kind of funny because you think just because a song is popular, well, she's going to win. But these people who are, record label executives were sort of like, yeah, no. So now this time around with Emotion, everybody's saying she should have been a shoo-in. But sales were pretty crummy that first week. 16,000 is what was happening. So is this considered a snub?
I think it's considered a snub because I do think that Carly puts out these hits. She has these big records, but it is a snub. I feel like, I don't know if it was her timing either. I think she's an amazing artist. She's young. People do like her, and they listen to her music. Something there, it is a snub. I guess Indeed should definitely be a snub because I love her, and I think it should have been nominated. I think she should be up there. I'm not sure what happened with that.
Could this be something like we see with Justin Bieber, who, hit after hit after hit, he can have the screaming fans, but again, does the record industry, does the Academy, do the voters, do they recognize having screaming crazy fans or the actual quality of what you're recording and producing?
I think for me, I mean, knowing the industry and knowing the Grammys and how they work, it's two totally separate different things, and I think people need to kind of understand we're not all about this is what the record should be. I mean, Justin Bieber, in his right, like, anytime you turn on the radio, you hear Justin Bieber.
Right.
He's great. He's amazing. I think he's been snubbed as well. Like, a lot of that stuff should be up there, and I feel like we need to get out of that mind frame of because they don't think it's like this true artistry or something that it can't be a part of the Grammys. Because at the end of the day, music makes you feel a certain way, and you want to feel good when you hear music. You want to be like an Adele and have emotion, but you also want to have a Justin Bieber song where you're happy and you can party and have a good time.
Okay, let's take this. You mentioned Adele. I want to know your first reaction when you heard Hello. Where were you? What did you think? I gotta know.
I wish I could say I was like in a bathtub drinking wine and crying. I mean, that's ideally where I feel like you should be when you heard Hello. But, I was in my car. My friend was like, did you hear Adele yet? Did you hear Adele? I was like, no. So I literally pulled to the side of the road. This is no joke. I bought the song off iTunes and listened, and it brought me back to great music again, where you hear someone just putting emotion, and you can tell she really meant the words. And I love it. I love Adele. And she actually made me go back and pull up some old Amy Winehouse.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
Jeremy Bradley here, back talking with our girl Sibley from E! News, chatting Grammys handed out Monday night on CBS. You mentioned about, like, sort of the business of the Grammys, so let's talk about this, because people might not understand how an artist or a song or an album gets nominated, because the song, the music or whatever has to be submitted for consideration, right?
Definitely. When you have an academy like that, just like, same things go with Oscars and different award shows, there's criteria, there's sales, there are, different things that go into this. And it's not what a person who doesn't know the industry would think sometimes. So even though you hear a record on the radio a million times, like, for instance, D'Angelo, one of my favorite artists of all time, a lot of people, especially younger generation, probably don't know who he is, but something resonated with him, and his numbers worked, and now he's up. Like, he's up there in the nomination.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's get to some of your predictions about winners. Okay, so Album of the Year. I don't know if you remember all of the nominees. I can recap them for you if you want. Album of the Year, who do you think is going to take it?
Okay, let's recap Album of the Year for me, please.
Okay. Alabama Shake, Sound and Color. Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly. Chris Stapleton, Traveler. Taylor Swift, 1989. Weekend, Beauty Behind the Madness.
See, now for me, if I were to just go off my emotion and being an artist and a music lover, I would say The Weeknd, because I felt like The Weeknd found his niche. I felt like The Weeknd owned his music. And, you know, he's put out so much great stuff before when he went on tour with Justin Timberlake, but now I feel like this is him. He owned it.
See, I think that if The Weeknd wasn't nominated, I would say Taylor Swift would take it. But with The Weeknd in there, I think I agree with you. I think it could be The Weeknd. It was a big year last year for The Weeknd.
Definitely. I mean, with him on the soundtrack, you know, 50 Shades is great, huge movie, and he fits. And you know what the great thing about him is? I think that takes it back to being an artist. Is you look at The Weeknd as an artist. You're not looking at The Weeknd as a gimmick. You're not looking at The Weeknd as expected to put out a hit single. You're looking at The Weeknd as The Weeknd, and that's it.
Right. And we're always looking forward to The Weeknd, aren't we? Oh, geez, that was terrible.
I guess we are. Wait, are we almost...
Song of the Year. Kendrick Lamar, All Right. Taylor Swift, Blank Space. Little Big Town Girl Crush. Wiz and Charlie Puth, See You Again. Ed Sheeran, Thinking Out Loud.
See, I'm an Ed Sheeran fan, but yeah. I think I want to say with Fast and Furious 7, Paul Walker, I really feel like Charlie and Wiz, I hope they don't get snubbed. I really feel like that was an amazing song. It brought hip-hop as well as pop and just music together and blended so nicely, and it was such a great tribute. Okay,
all right. Record of the Year. D'Angelo and the Vanguard, Really Love. Mark Ronson featuring Bruno Mars, Uptown Funk. Ed Sheeran, Thinking Out Loud. Taylor Swift, Blank Space. The Weeknd, Can't Feel My Face. I think Can't Feel My Face. Sorry, All Summer is. I heard that song, All Summer.
I'm right with you on The Weeknd. I honestly, and you know what? I don't know why I feel like The Weeknd is the underdog in this, but I do, and in a good way. Like, I love underdogs, but I feel like The Weeknd just, that voice and the way he handles his music and how he puts it out and the visuals to it, I'm going with The Weeknd.
This is a song that when you went through the mall, you heard it. When people were driving in their cars with the, with the top down or the windows down this summer, you heard that blasting. Now, again, as we mentioned, just like Call Me Maybe, can't say just because everybody was playing it that it's a shoo-in, right?
Exactly. Just because it was playing does not mean, and this is why we have these conversations about who's going to be snubbed.
Right.
Because you just never know, and when you have these, essentially these are contests of who's like the better artist, but it's really not. It just depends. It's so much that goes into this, and you can only hope for the best, and hope the Grammys know what they're talking about, and the people that get to vote.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
JB here, back at the controls, still chatting with Sibley, our girl from E! News, talking Grammys and making predictions, of course, about who's going to win, and we're going to be right. Okay, so for this next one, I don't have a favorite, and I don't even know who could possibly win because I don't care for any of them. Best New Artist. Well, I liked Meghan Trainor. Okay, when she's with Charlie, it's sort of cute, right?
Kelly is up there, right?
Tori Kelly, Sam Hunt, James Bay, Courtney Barnett, and Meghan Trainor.
Now, here, can I give you my snub? Betty Wap.
Yeah.
Betty Wap and being like one of the faces right now for Calvin Klein, which is very big. You know, all the kids are wearing the Calvin Klein again.
Yeah.
I just felt like Betty Wop's music like kind of crossed over. You could listen to it in the club. You could listen to it wherever. Like my mother knows Betty Wop. I am a huge Tori Kelly fan. I would love to see her get it, especially after the campaign. I think she's doing kind of what Tyrese did with Coca-Cola right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's awesome for her. And I saw her on YouTube. You know, my first interview with her was just congratulating her that she finally came out, and she's a very emotional singer. But I feel like, I don't know. That one I'm kind of not sure about. And Meghan Trainor, I like her as a writer. I'm still trying to get to her as an artist.
Was All About the... I don't even know. That was her first big hit, right? I'm All About the... Is that Grammy-worthy in the first place?
But let's say, I don't know. Do you feel like it is? Because, I
No.
mean, then you have a Katy Perry, I Kissed a Girl type of thing, or, you know, one of those records where it's like, or a Jessie J, she has the Domino. I feel like those are very big pop records.
Yeah.
But are they Grammy worthy? Again, it's you just don't know. But Meghan Trainor seems to be a hit with people and radio, so it might cross over to her getting Best New Artist.
It could. I don't know. But is she... I guess she's not really a new artist. I guess now falling in where the submission dates and everything are, I guess, yeah, technically she's new. But she's been around for a couple years now, hasn't she?
She's been around for a little bit, which is why I say she's someone that reminds me of a Carrie Hilson.
Yeah.
Carrie Hilson started as a writer, just even as Neo did as well. Started off as a writer, and then they were producing as well, and now their faces out there, so people are seeing them. And I think that's kind of a good connection as far as artists are concerned, because we know you can handle the writing, but the other big question is, can you translate into record sales and be an artist like a Beyonce or Taylor Swift?
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
E-News correspondent, our gal Sibley, still joining us on the line talking Grammys. Very quickly, though, are we expecting Lady Gaga to show up in something wild or as, like, her Marilyn Monroe alter ego? What do you think?
You know what? I'm glad you brought up the Marilyn Monroe alter ego. And I love her at her natural state of giving me the old school va-va boom, but not overdoing it. I love that she's found herself, and she seems super happy. So I'm expecting her to come out very sexy, sleek, not over the top, and very clean. Like, I love Lady Gaga like that.
This is where I'm conflicted, though. Is that the real her, or is this a character that she's also playing? That's what bothers me. I don't know what to... I can't read her. Like, I can't figure her out, which is maybe part of the secrecy of it all.
Which is probably a good thing, and I think that's, like, a little bit of a... You know, that thing that she hides, I think that makes you even... If you've never watched Gaga before, you've never seen her or known about her, I think that's her little gem. She can pull out anything and be anyone. I mean, look, she just was the Golden Globes and won, you know, on a show that she's never even done television before. So it's like she kind of just takes over everything she does, and she does it in a different way each time, and I think that's what's great about her.
Well, I mean, now let's talk about the Golden Globes quickly, because that's something where everybody was like, really, her? And it seemed, people were saying, critics were saying, seemed disingenuous, kind of saying, here's this music artist who's all, you know, choked up, and, you know, that was bad acting, is what people were saying. Thoughts?
You know what? I think that's the thing where you said, is that really her? We'll never know. At the end of the day, I don't think we'll ever know. And with artists, like, when you have an artist like a Prince or a Madonna, or you have a Lady Gaga, who they can be different characters and wear these crazy outfits, but yet it still in a way seems like home to them, we'll never know. I don't think we will, and I think that's a mystery that I like about artists, and I think that's why I love music so much, that when you have someone who's such a character, they can play any role, and you just don't know, but it kind of makes you mad, but you don't know.
Right. So, the Grammys, it seems to be an award show where people have different style, as we're talking about Gaga. It's not formal like the Oscars, it's not casual and dressy like the SAG Awards. Music artists have a different style. I know you know style. So, what are you expecting to see on the red carpet this year? Who do you think? Make a prediction. Who's going to stand out? Who are people going to be talking about all night and the next day?
You know who I hope they do, because I'm fighting for her. I love her, and I know she's got a huge fan base. Demi Lovato, like, now, because she, like, owns it so much. I think she's on the cover of Allure right now, and she just looks so clean and fresh-faced. But I love the fact that her and who else is it? Is it Selena Gomez? They just, you know what? They're over the whole body shaming thing. They love being a woman, and they're accepting it. And they're like, you know what? I don't need to sit here and cover myself, and let me just be me. So I'm hoping those two come out, and they just have something like ba va boom, over the top that we don't expect.
Have we heard, is Miley Cyrus going to be there?
I hope Miley Cyrus shows up with her boo. I hope that she comes out and does her thing, but I don't know. I'm wondering, Miley's kind of, I don't know if she's changing right now. If she wants to be back the old Miley, or if she's going to continue what she's doing with, over-the-top kittens all over her pictures and different things like that. I would like to see what she does. I'll be surprised at what she does either way.
Are you expecting her to show up with dogs or cats or some sort of a pet? Like, she's a dog sitter now, I hear, right? She's dog sitting for the boyfriend or the fiance. Are they engaged again, or what's the deal?
Is she a dog sitter? I know that for Miley, I think if she does show up with a bunch of dogs, I would hope she would do it in Dalmatian style and make it like just, I don't know, look like Cruella de Vil and come out. If you're going to do it, just own it and go all the way.
I'd be worried that Gaga would take them and make a coat out of them, though. That's what concerns me about this.
Oh, my God.
No?
I mean, she's worn meat before, right? She had a meat dress, so we never know.
Oh, PETA and the ASPCA are going to have a crap fit at the Grammys this year if that happens. So, one final prediction.
Wait, let's not harm the animals.
No. One final prediction. Who do you think is there going to be a sweep this year by anybody? What do you think?
I mean, you know what? I would love to say, I know we hadn't talked about this, about any of the other categories, but I would love to see, I'm missing Hotline Bling from Drake, which
yes.
I thought that would have been up there. Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
I would love to see everything that he's nominated for, just because, first of all, Obama vouches for him.
Yes.
And I feel like he brought back real hip-hop, and he actually stands for something. And I love that he doesn't overdo anything, and he comes out, he's himself. And he just owns his art. So I think, if anything, I would love to see him come out and take some awards home.
Now, on the subject of Drake's Hotline Bling, I recall that is one of those that wasn't nominated because it wasn't submitted for consideration, I believe.
Yeah, see, and that's a little bit confusing as to why that was not.
Right.
But because it made it before September.
Yes.
The song was out before September, so I'm not sure what happened there.
No, July. Was it July? I don't recall when it was, but yeah, it was.
Is it July? Yeah, I think it was in July.
Yeah.
And then what is September 30th, the cutoff date?
Yeah.
I'm kind of confused as to why that wasn't, because SNL spoofed it. We've got, everyone has spoofed it. So I'm surprised that's not up there.
What I think is cool about Drake, and not that Canada's Juno Awards matter, but we were covering that in St. John's, Newfoundland. This was Drake's sort of first appearance. He hadn't even had an album out yet, and he was being nominated for Canada's, national awards in the country. No album, just I think 1 or 2 songs, and so it's interesting to see what he can do at the Grammys when it's a much, much bigger stage. So we'll see. Who's to say? I think that he does deserve more Grammys than Bieber, although, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't Joan Rivers have more Grammys than Bieber? Kathy Griffin does, I know that.
Yeah, Bieber's like Leonardo DiCaprio. He's like this huge, massive guy, but and good luck to Leo. Hopefully this Oscar situation happens and everything goes down.
I think, wasn't it his SAG one was the first in 9 nominations, if I'm not mistaken, for that SAG that he got as well. He's the Susan Lucci of...
Crazy.
Yeah.
We love you, Leo. Come on, take us home.
We do. And we love E's red carpet coverage, Fashion Police, and E! News, of course. Boy, you just covered all there. And the Kardashians to boot. Can you believe that?
We got everything.
Everybody. All right. Well, Sibley, thanks so much from E! News for joining us. And we're going to be watching the Grammys. Can't wait.
Can't wait. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Thanks. There you have it, Sibley from E! News. Thanks for joining us. Wow, look at this. We've talked sports. We've talked music. I'm on a roll today. You know what? We're actually going to be talking movies in the next couple of weeks as with the Oscars. Oscar So White is approaching, and we're going to talk again with one of our friends from E! News, a movie expert there. So that's coming up in the next couple of weeks. So would love to hear from you. Give me a shout anytime. On Twitter, we're at The Scribble Show, and then my own Twitter is at SF Celebwatch. SF is in Speak Free Celebwatch. So Monday night for those Grammys, you can follow my live tweets there. And this is where I'm conflicted, is because Bachelor Night is Mondays as well. So I'm going to do Grammys because that's bigger, and then right after that go into The Bachelor. So I could be very toasted, and when I mean toasted, I mean drunk, by the time Bachelor rolls around at whatever time I'm going to be watching that. So follow along. It should be a very interesting night of tweets. And you can always email live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. I'd love to hear your thoughts about the show, or if there's a celebrity guest you'd love to have on, or if you just want to rant and tell us how great we are. If you want to tell us how bad the show is, don't. Just don't. No, we'd love hearing all of your feedback, so feel free, do reach out if there's anything that is on your mind. All right, my name is Jeremy Bradley. This is The Scribble. I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat,